Three, two, one. Hello. Hi, everyone, and welcome to my podcast today with Linda, Linda G, as I know you well. Welcome, Linda.
Hi, how's everybody doing? Linda G. Comanche Psycho.
And thank you for joining us.
Yes, well, you've been on my show a couple of times.
I have, yes, and thank you. It was your suggestion to come here, and I thought that was it's very humbling. I love our new world that we're building, where ordinary people like you and I are stars in other people's universes, right?
Right. But if we
And
can
vice
do
versa.
something to help them, yes,
Exactly. We're all
we're
stars, whoever we
happy
choose.
to open up that. And I've had a lot of people go to you for readings and they love it.
Fabulous.
The
Thank you.
reason I was attracted to you is because you shine so bright.
That's
I
fun.
normally have to wear my sunglasses, but today's a little easier.
It's just been, yeah, it's been so phenomenal, helping so many people. I've met so many people and continue to have lots more booked and lots more ways of helping people as well. Um, and thank you for that both the opportunity, and it's lovely to be able to reach more people. I'd love to hear more about you. So I have lots of questions, but the
Sure.
first is
Just don't ask my weight and we're a team.
of course, the your owl is the owl that's behind you. Is this
Yeah.
is it a drum or a
It's a
pitcher? A
drum, a
drum.
drum. And Kevin Lewis, he's the one that got that for me. If you look at his videos, he
Mhm.
has one behind him. He's a healer like you.
Oh, lovely. And owls have been a big synchronicity for me. I They always turn up in big when big changes happen in my life, and also including when I moved home, like the removals company had huge owls on the side. And I hear an owl, so I go for a morning run about 5 a.m. in the countryside, and there's often an owl. They're amazing to see, right? Because they're so silent when they fly. It's almost like they're a ghost. And but I love hearing them the most. Um,
Yeah,
so thank
yeah.
you for sharing your owl energy with us.
We have some doves out here that make a noise almost like you would think it's an owl, but it's not.
Mhm.
They go like
Cute.
whoo, whoo, like that, but they're doves.
Yeah, well, that's very cute. So yeah, I'd love to know a little bit about your journey. I suspect quite a few people on my channel won't know who you are, and maybe you could tell me a little bit about yourself, like where you are and
I'm
what's
in Northern
going on in your life.
California. By the way, we're getting wind gusts that are, I think they're at least 30. I was just telling John that my worst windstorm was in Edinburgh, Scotland,
Mm,
with 80-mile-an-hour winds. We were heading towards, it was my boyfriend and his parents, and we were heading towards the Stirling Castle, and the lorries were just all turned over. And we kept driving to Stirling Castle. I don't know why we kept going because it was going to close down. We actually went another day. It was so much fun. But anyway, and at Stirling Castle, there wasn't a lot of, like some places you go, even the Edinburgh Castle, they have
mm,
guards and stuff kind of keeping an eye. At
yeah,
Stirling, you could go do what you want.
that's right. Yeah.
Oh, it's weird. But anyway, I am my mother was Comanche native as well as Hispanic. And my father is Irish, English, Scottish, and Dutch. In fact, my lineage goes back to King David of Scotland
Wow.
and William the Lion. But my abilities as far as being a psychic medium started, I believe, from my mom's side, because my
Mm,
mom could see things. So I've always sort of had the gift, but it just came on full force when I got cancer. And I was walking my dog down a path and I was begging for my life because I didn't want to leave my boys. They were still kind of young.
oh,
And I heard a man say in my right ear, "What are you doing? You know there's no such thing as death." And I felt totally embarrassed for doing it. But, I was a nurse for years. I worked hospice at all
mhm,
avenues. And I've seen a lot of death, and I knew that they didn't die because I could see their spirit leave their bodies. So in my embarrassment, I handed my will over, almost like into thy hands I commence my spirit.
Hmm.
And something happened to me in that movement. I wrote a book, by the way. If you just look up Linda Grindle, you'll find it. If you Google me, you'll find it
Hmm.
on Amazon. It's audio, whatever you want. Anyway, so I woke, something happened where a wind blew. Now, listen, there's a guy named Bletchley. He's a UFO guy. I've seen him on a lot of shows,
Yeah.
and he's had a lot of spiritual experiences with ETs.
Hmm.
And he talked, I just recently, he talked about a magnificent wind that hit him that was coming from what he considered Mother Mary.
Hmm.
And I was raised by atheists, so I didn't have a spiritual background.
Yeah.
So this wind hit me, and as it hit me, it said, "Thy will be done." And
Wow.
in that moment, something happened. I was high as a kite,
Hmm.
was buzzing, and I couldn't calm down. I couldn't eat, which tells you something was really wrong. I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't get the smell of the earth off my fingers.
Yeah.
And my native friends said that the earth is healing. So I
Mm.
might have had a spontaneous healing at that moment. I had already done a double mastectomy. I was bald as can be, and I was still on chemo. And something happened in that minute, and I think I had a spontaneous, because that was in 2009.
Right.
And
Wow.
how many years have passed? So,
Yeah.
but my
Wow.
abilities got stronger. And then I
Yeah.
went to a little shop called Angel Heart for You with my friend Carol. And I would do readings like for $30 just to play, just to have a good time. And the people just started to pack in. I would be solid booked. And so then Carol says, "Well, I guess we should raise the rate. Maybe we could comment." They kept coming. So it just ended up being, and then I was in my bedroom, minding my own business, probably watching something on TV and I wasn't laying down, I was standing up. And that same man that said, "Oh, I don't know if I missed this part out." When I was begging for my life, because I still had two little kids, I heard in my right ear, "You know, there's no such thing as death."
Hmm.
And that's when I felt embarrassed.
Right.
"Please forgive me. I know what you're saying. Into thy hands I commence my spirit." So that same man, when I was in my room, said, "You're going to start a YouTube channel." I was like, "Oh, heck to the no. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get up and brush my hair and get dressed." And they said, "Linda, you will help calm them down." So I had no idea. YouTube, I don't know, for
Mhm.
nothing. My son helped me open an account. And I just sat in front of my computer and I just started talking. And then when I'd go to Angel Heart, I would film some shows. It just started to build and build. Even at one point, I think it was the month of July, the year before COVID, I'm talking what I'm hearing, and they said, "There's going to be a real bad virus going around." And I saw a lot of people with masks on. I
Mhm.
saw it and I said it and I was done with it. So, and I should have stood there for a minute, but it's like, "Oh yeah, they want you guys to know there's a big," little did we realize how big.
Yeah.
So so then I was just overwhelmed. My abilities to be a medium were even stronger,
Mhm.
really strong. And like the one example I like to talk about is I was reading a woman in my bedroom and on the phone, and all of a sudden we heard this loud noise like a man talking, and it was coming from my phone on my dresser across the room. So I go over to the phone, and there, honest to God, I took a screenshot of it.
Yeah.
It's in my book. It says, "In our realm, anything is possible."
Wow.
That's what it said. And I took a screenshot that, and she was tripping and I was tripping. And that's the kind of stuff I've been having
Mhm.
happening. I don't do personal readings anymore. I'll be 72 this September. I've been doing personal readings for a lot of years, and I kind of got tired. Maybe, I give away free readings,
Mm.
like on my show. Every once in a while, I'll give away a free reading, but it wipes you out, as you well know.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a big investment.
Yeah. So the YouTube, now I got like 121,000 subscribers, and it's
Wow.
taking off, and I'm having a ball and meeting the most wonderful people.
Oh, what an incredible journey.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I can't believe all that's happened in just since 2009. It's like
2009.
it's incredible.
That's when I got cancer. I opened up the YouTube channel in 2018. I think it was February of 2018. And
Hmm.
what's funny is I argued with them, and you would think this realm, whoever they are, I mean, I had a spontaneous healing thanks to them, but whoever they are, I said no. I said, I don't want to get up and brush my hair. You would have thought lightning would come out of the sky and take me down. And what he said was, you will help calm people down.
Hmm.
So that's that. I'm a Virgo. We like to take care of people.
Oh, that's so lovely. And um I'd love to also thank you because you, out of all the people I know, you help me realize how important it is to take care of the world. And
Yeah.
when I'm getting on my busy day, and often I've got a lot of readings to and healings to get through for people, it's very easy to get caught up in my own life, or just the people that I'm serving in that day. But the world keeps spinning and the world keeps turning, and
And they need
and
us more
it
now than
that's
ever.
right. It needs all of our help. And
And you're married. I'm not married, which is good
mm.
news for me. And, my boys, my son will turn 30 on May 15th, March
Oh,
15th, and my little Pisces. But your children are still young, right?
18 and 15. Sorry, 19. Just turned 19 and 15.
Well, 19 is close to 30,
That's right.
but you still have to worry about the children.
Yeah, and my little dog Patch. Yeah, he takes a lot of care. How how
Oh,
is how is Jack?
my Jack, he had a big lipoma the size of a rugby ball. That's
Oh,
what the vet said. Had it removed, and we had a drain. They took the drain out. Next week, they're taking the stitches out, and he's walking more straight because before he had kind
oh,
of a limp,
yeah.
and he seems to be he's a happier boy. So
Hmm.
I'm very, very happy about that.
Oh, that's good news. I wish
But
him.
the kids, I really love my boys, but I'm not the best mother because when they asked for a hot breakfast, I said, stand in the shower and open your mouth.
I'll,
That's the
I'll
kind of
remember
sympathy
that.
they get from me.
That's right. Yeah, it's a bit similar when I'm asked to cook. It's like, oh, where would you like me to drive you? Or who should we phone?
Yeah. And my son, my eldest son, he's an October baby, so he's a Libra. He didn't even want to get a driver's license. He was 19 before he got a driver's license. And at that, I had to push him.
Mhm.
And when I was young, 15 and a half, I had that,
That's so incredible.
that thing you get, the permit. And then I
Mhm.
had my license at 16, but not my boy. He could care less.
Wow. Yeah, you can here it's 17, you can get your provisional, and then 18 is when you can get your full test. But yeah, it's I was the same. I started lessons as soon as I could. Um, so yeah, I'd love to ask you about like this world, like it's going through huge changes, right? And some of which we've never seen the like of. And I was really interested in your perspective, and I'd love to share some of mine as well about what you're receiving, what you're feeling about the biggest challenges the whole world faces. A bit, I keep seeing myself as like out in space, looking down at the Earth and going, what are the challenges? And then
Well,
we can
it's
talk a bit more
amazing
about how
how
we
the
help.
other countries right now are shaking their head looking at America.
Hmm.
America used to be the bomb, the place you respected. And
Yeah.
now they're just turning into these demons. It's like, oh my gosh. But I know that there's hope. And I know this too shall pass. And I know there's a reason for all this, just like Germany and France and the UK, all of them are getting up their own military, their own backing, they're taking care of themselves. And probably that should have been done. But, and I do hope they know that this energy that came in is temporary. It's not,
Mhm.
he's just tearing it up. He doesn't care.
Yeah, yeah.
He was doing a commercial for Elon Musk in front of the White House on federal property. That is so, if Biden had done that, he'd already be in jail.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
this guy doesn't care, and they're shutting down the Department of Education. They're shutting it down. And then they're going to hit Social Security. But let me tell you something. It's bad enough what they've done to and look out for the news on the 14th, 15th, and 16th of March, because our vets, in fact, I'll probably head to the vet hall up in Benicia. Our
Hmm.
vets are going to be walking. And let me tell you, I've seen some tic-tac or whatever they call it, videos of
Hmm.
military people who actually loved him. They're so furious they could spit nails. They're
Yeah.
so furious at what he's doing to
Hmm.
good men, and their families. So the protests are going to get stronger. We're going to go through quite a change. And I do feel both Elon and Trump really have to stand behind their um, FBI or CIA, because there's people that want them gone. I can feel them like black energy
Yeah.
wanting to take them out. And the other thing is when they start touching Social Security, which they plan on doing, this is when America will take no more. This is when we'll come probably into a total shutdown.
Hmm.
Mark my words on this. It's going to be so bad that I see Trump actually backpedaling. Like, oh, well, no, no, that was Elon's thing. No, Elon, sorry, you got to go. I don't agree with it. Something's going to happen, because when you touch Social Security, oh my God, a lot of Republicans are going to get hurt. More Republicans are on aid than anything, but all these people in memory places and of the elderly, what are they going to do with all those people? Put them on the street? What are you feeling?
Um, and yeah, just acknowledging a lot of what you're saying. Like like I see from a distance, there's another human on the other side of the Atlantic. I think this feeling of every day is a new day of chaos, right? And what's almost
Yes,
that feeling of what's next. Um, and I even wrote a song about it because it came up in one of my meditations about some of the lyrics are about like what happened to my country, like what happened to my world, and that feeling, right, that there are things that we really value in our lives, and that suddenly when they're under threat, and a lot of this is the feeling behind it. um it encourages like us to, we like instinctually will close up, like our we move more into fear, and we find it much harder
yeah,
to know how to even help, because we're scared of like, well, what about my family, my loved ones, my income, my life,
right.
and also the ones I love, and those across my country and planet. um but to answer your question, I see across the world like this, like it's like this shaking up, like it's like getting, like picking up a snow globe and like spinning up and down, and like, and what's happening is, um this actually came up in a recent client session, is it's a bit like this analogy of a sand pit, where we're all in kindergarten, we're like, just, we're humans just trying to get by, and we're trying to build our little sand castles, and in part have fun, be creative, build a world and structures around us that support us. But there's something wrong with them. There's something inherently wrong with many of the structures that we built. And then there's like, we all had one, right? There was always like the bully in the class or in your play group, as we had it in Scotland. And they can see it's falling, and they're like, and they just come in and start kicking everything, and like, and all the
Right,
sandcastles are falling down. And I was shown in this, the question was, but why do we have sandcastles at all, and why do we even have a sandpit? And I was shown on, underneath sandpits, often a bit like a swimming pool, you'd build this like polythene layer to hold the sand and stop it dissolving into the earth. And I was shown that the whole thing can be lifted away. And so as kids are sat there going, but I thought I needed that. Don't I need this? And it's like,
right,
no, these things, they helped you when you needed them. The structures helped you play together, work together, live together. But now is the time to just release what doesn't serve you. And importantly, that is like this sandpit being released, moving out the way and reconnecting us with nature. Because we forgot, right? We forgot we're wearing. I'm not wearing them right now, but um, we wear shoes. A lot of us don't have the time or the energy or even the mobility to connect with nature. And
right.
now that we're recommuning with the planet, at least becoming more aware, even as you started like saying, well, what do other countries think of other countries now? I'm not even sure that would have been in my awareness, this time
Yeah.
last year.
Oh, the other countries, except I think even Russia hates Trump right now. They're very mad about that
Mm,
30 day. And by the way, I don't see Putin working with any of us. He's going to go out. But I will tell you that when you stop letting people being able to feed their child or pay their rent, you got a horse of a different color.
mhm,
There's not going to be any kumbaya. It's going to be violent. It's
mhm.
going to be pretty bad because you put people in a position. They didn't even go in nicely. Okay, listen, this is how we're going to reset it. No, it's just these guys and a couple of very young friends of his. They're all gamers going
Mhm.
in and wiping out, taking our top secrets, firing FAA. You know how bad the planes are here in America? Don't come to America.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Mhm.
And but then to affect the elderly and those, even your people in Florida that get Social Security, even if they have a little money, they're going to be mad. You know how the elderly are. Don't you
Yeah.
touch my money. So it's going to be Armageddon, I'm going to tell you right now, because they didn't even go in and say, look, we're going to rearrange this from now on, this or that. They're just cutting you off.
Yeah.
And that's no way to do it.
No, it's no way to treat each other. Um, and I also see, I think I touched on this a little bit the last couple times we met, is like there are programs of like fear and mixed in with like greed in amongst all this, right? And it's almost like in that the sand pit and sandcastles analogy that, oh, I'm going to take what I want from that, and almost like they know what's already happened, they know
Yeah.
what's about to happen, and we also know that um, this is a war of our souls, right? This is not just one battle. This is a rebalancing in our planet. It's a
Yeah.
rebalancing of our darkness and light, both within us and those that choose to control us. And I feel like one of the big things that we face individually is finally coming to terms with the fact that you and I, those that watch this, we are not governed. We are not, there is no law in this world, in this universe that can tell us what to do and what not to do. This universe has its own universal laws, including
Yeah.
free will right up there at the top. And so at
Yeah.
any point, whenever we feel like, but I don't have control, I don't have a say in this, these are like you're being, it's like we're being encouraged to close up in fear, to believe that's true. And you're absolutely right. Every one of us will choose different responses, whether they're peaceful or not.
I just feel bad for the families that barely are making it.
Yeah.
And all those people he's fired,
Hmm.
all the hundreds of thousands of people he's fired from different organizations. It's really, really sad.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if you make good money, though, you're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
He's addressing the rich and giving them bigger breaks and screwing with the poor. And that won't, that energetically, it's not going to hold up because the yin yang of the universe won't put up with it.
Yeah, it'll rebalance. Like imagine having in the White House your best buddy. I mean, you could have two best buddies, one the richest and one the poorest person in the world,
Yeah.
right? Why not have balance? Yeah, I absolutely agree. I was going to ask you, and I don't know how much you talk about it or really much about your belief system about it, but about the subject of ETs, of aliens,
I
of I call them,
totally believe in them. Yeah. And
and
they look out for us. I had an ET talk to me
mhm,
a couple of years ago, and he was, well, they don't talk, they mind talk.
yeah,
And he told me that they weren't here to interfere with man's free will.
yeah,
But if we need to stop destroying this earth, and we need to not do any um, nuclear.
yeah,
They have permission to stop that. And when Chernobyl happened,
hmm,
there's an actual picture in the Russian paper. It's a total ET spaceship over number 2 or number 5, whichever one was radiating all that
yeah,
stuff, right on top of it. And it was sucking up all the radiation.
wow,
And they said if it hadn't done that, more of between the Ukraine and Russia would have been wiped out.
yeah. And now it's like a nature reserve, right?
Yeah,
This recovery is just spectacular. Yeah, I'm sure
yeah.
that's had a lot of help then to support that. And because I was going to ask you what you think they'll do, and I agree. Like I feel that every time, almost frustratingly, like when I talk to my spirit guides or when I have had contact with aliens as well, and they're like, well, half of my guides are from different planets as well, but you always have to ask. You always have to ask for help. They'll never come along and intervene and
And you
stop
have to ask
something.
them to help you.
Um, and I feel like a lot of their role as well is stopping, behind every human, um, just like my mother always used to say, behind every good man is a good woman. And I feel like just behind every human, there's also an energy, an influence. And a lot of our opportunity in our lives is to keep that as clear and as, you know,
Yes.
um, as sovereign as we want. But not all humans do that, right? Some choose to seek alliances, whether with darker entities, lower vibration entities, or um, beings from around the universe as well. And I think some of what's going on around us as well is like making sure everyone plays fair, because it's very easy for one galactic race to step in and say, "Well, I don't agree with what's going on. Here's my opinion about what should happen." And a lot of humans trying to do deals, right? They're like, "Oh, there's big problems. Can I get a ship out of here? Can I get a ticket out of here? Or just give me an island to look after or a small country?" Um, and I was interested if you think that the interventions would go beyond nuclear. Or you think that would be it?
Well, I had the weirdest hit, and I could be wrong, but let me just give it to you. I had a hit that the ETs have already, they're the ones that keep blowing up Elon's ships that are going up.
Mm,
And do you know a lot of Starlinks have been imploding in air?
yeah, that's right.
And I had this bad feeling, his spaceship supposed to go up and save those 2 people up in the air that have been up
Mm,
there 18 months or something.
yeah.
I just have this bad feeling. I hope it's not true. But think about it. If it's Elon's ship that goes up to grab these 2 people, and something happens that it implodes and these people die, that would be so bad that Elon would have to go. Because I see something happening with Elon that he has to literally get out of the country.
Mhm.
I'm just going to say that. It's a hit I had. I can't, it's not like some of the hits that I know. Like I know to be absolutely true, Trump's not going to last much longer. Not necessarily by death. I'm just going to tell you that, especially come the midterms, it's going to be crystal blue in the House.
Mhm.
So, In fact, I just was watching a show and they were saying that the Congress could have come back and stopped these tariffs that Trump's doing. Congress has the right to vote, say, no, you can't do that anymore. And not only did they not do it, they put it on a suspension that they don't have to do it for like a year or so to come. This is bad.
Fascinating. Yeah. Yeah, and I do I feel that as well. There's this we were talking about the two people out in space
Yeah,
is there there's the moments of like we were talking about respect to free will. If someone chooses to live, then it is possible there would be you know an intervention. Um, but I also feel like, and I guess I've just felt it all with Elon ever since I ever like saw him, was like this just it just doesn't last.
oh, you could feel
And
that, good.
just always, and it's hard for us to, especially when we're younger, I find it harder to realize that everything is temporary. And also the superpower of the darkness, like the darkness within us all, is the illusion. So so anyone that's trying to convince you that they're around for a long time and that they know what's going to happen and that they're in control is always like a red flag. It's always like, hang on, I'm not sure that's really true.
Right.
The and it doesn't take a psychic. I mean, we all have these capabilities if we choose to practice them and develop them. But the energetic mismatch, I think we're quite used to it with some other leaders, but the
Yeah.
energetic mismatch between what is in um, Elon's heart compared to his actions just seems so different.
He's not right in the
And
head.
and I think also it in between since we last met, I've had visitations from I describe them as they do have a different term and I keep forgetting what it is, but they're like psyops. These are government psychics, and they've entered my home at like
Wait, are they from
at,
another planet or from
no, these
here?
are other humans trained
Wow.
like you and I, and astral projected into my home, and I've seen them as plain as day, and ejected them, and then to have them. They came in a second time just minutes later because they thought it wasn't possible that I managed to get rid of them. And it's like, this is, um, all I could say about that experience was many world leaders have these protections around them. And when you go looking, sometimes this happens, right? Just like we look at others, they'll look at us. And yeah, I think I also feel a lot of that around Elon. Like there's a lot blocking access to him for that reason. And I
Because
think
he has ETs around him?
I think a lot of it's more hired help. It's more energetic protection that he has.
Okay.
Um, it's not to say that he doesn't have ET connections. There does feel like there's some. I won't name the galactic race. I don't think it's very helpful. It almost feels a little bit galactic racist to say it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
at the same time, there are beings, yeah, absolutely from other worlds.
But what was the purpose of them coming into your home?
They were first of all checking me out, and they were seeing, they were like scanning me to see what my capabilities are, and they were also checking my defenses, just like you do with any enemy, right? You test their defenses and try to get to know them.
They haven't been around my house.
That's good, and I certainly don't invite them in.
Of course,
um,
I do sleep with my gun right next to me.
mhm. I sleep
So,
with my one-toothed dog next to me.
yeah, there you go.
um,
So that's interesting.
yeah, it is. They have a term. It not it's oh I can always Google it while we're chatting. Um, but yeah, I don't want to give any power to that experience. I don't think it's anything new. It's been around for like Uri Geller speaks of it, and your programs going back into the 60s and even before then. But there are, just as we can do this work for good, it can go, it can be used against others as well. And I would just encourage anyone that hears this
I
message.
know the government was really interested in that. They like you to go into Russia and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. The remote viewing programs. Yeah, very, very real. Um, and yeah, I feel like this leads me on to my next question for you is I feel there's a lot we can do to just have strong boundaries and sovereignty, and
Yeah.
that it is both like a human and an energetic practice, like this all combined together. Just like like there were people in my home, I just ejected them. I'm like, you're not allowed in here, and they've never been back since because they're not allowed in. What do you think the biggest challenges are? Like people watching this video, um, what do you think the biggest challenges are? And do you have any suggestions for how people can help themselves or help each other?
Well, get out of your own way. Try not to overthink things. That's very hard. As I hear stuff on the news, I can feel my vibration tense up, and James Carville, he's a commentator. He worked for Clinton, and he says, "I'm going to tell you, Democrats, right now, and independents, what you need to do is just calm down and let it happen. We're protected. We're going to be okay." And America just won't allow someone like him ruining this country. Yeah, we could use some touch up, but not the way he's doing it. Get out of your own way. So practice meditation, breathing, and vibrationally stay as high as you can. And as much as we like to call him names and be like I do, but I got to catch myself, because I remember one time I was talking trash about him, and my guy said, now, Linda, be careful, because that vibrational energy causes you to go into a state of resistance and does nothing to him.
Hmm.
It hurts you.
Yeah. It's like that saying, anger is a way of drinking poison into your body to try and punish someone else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as terrible as that is, it's the truth. I mean, I love watching a good John Wick and stuff with payback. I love that kind of stuff.
me too.
But so there's a little bit of that payback energy with me. Like,
Mhm.
don't mess with me, because I'll get you back. Even when I was young, I was like that. But it usually will work against you.
Mhm. Yeah,
You
I,
got to kind
I
of breathe
agree.
and let it go.
Yeah, and one big thing I found it like a repeated theme for me, and then also many clients, especially since I first met you, and it was also how I felt when I first met you, was like having a really strong boundary. Like everyone gets to decide individually. We're all like our own little countries, right? We get to have a sovereign
Yes.
border around us, and we can say what we do and don't allow in, like who we allow in our lives and who we don't, the behaviors, and really focusing on like the feeling of it. Like, do you accept mistrust or violence towards you? Yes or no? Like you get to choose. And do you encourage inside of you love and forgiveness and acceptance and standing up for yourself? And as well as that, and it's so hard, right? Because especially when you feel sometimes I feel a bit like I'm in my camper van or my trailer, and there's like lots of hailstones coming down, and the noise is really loud and it's hitting my boundaries. It's like hitting the roof, like a tin roof, and to feel safe and to feel open-hearted within that, because when we're open-hearted, we're just like all our superpowers come alive. Like we're all the unique, beautiful aspects of ourselves, and we can truly solve world-sized problems, each one of us individually.
Yes.
We've seen single humans change this whole world for the better and for the worse, but also for the better. And
Yeah.
yeah, that would be my encouragement for everyone, is to keep practicing, like opening that rose of your heart, because it allows you to receive so much more, even when it seems so extremely difficult outside of you. These are um, it's a challenge of being a human, isn't it? Just like I
Yes.
still love, my son and I in particular, were big John Wick fans, and like there's times where you feel like you you both want to either entertain yourself, or you feel like that character. You're like you
Yeah.
want to go out and get payback, but everyone gets to choose. Everyone gets to choose their own path.
Right. And
And I
be
think that
careful about fear too, because that fear, I was raised in fear. My dad was pretty mean sometimes. And, he'd beat you and you were just a little kid and he's a grown man. And
Wow.
I remember that fear. And
Mm,
so that fear will deter your ability to create what it is you need. So if you catch yourself in fear, breathe it out and
yeah.
ask for help from the other side because they're willing to help you. Like you said about the ETs,
Yes.
they just won't come in. You got to ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah. Ask them to come, open up your heart and ask them to come into your skies. Ask you. I always talk to my spirit guides out loud, including in sessions. And I just ask them questions. Please, spirit guides, come and help me at this time, or help me with my fear. Be specific. Or if you want to see um, some interesting ships in the sky, then ask, be clear, and say either your spirit guides or galactic beings, ETs that have my highest good.
Yeah, they come because
Please,
I
please
I, I
appear.
did that CE5 and they come.
It's so true. I remember the very first time I did call them in. I got this answer was like, would you just look up? And so I looked up and they said, because I was asking, can you just give me a sign? And above me was this giant, like UFO shaped cloud. And they literally said, what do you mean, John? Like a giant UFO shaped cloud? And I just stopped. I was running at the time. It's like, oh, I get it.
How's your
You're
business
there.
been since for this? Have you been busy?
Yes. I
Okay,
would say, yeah, I would say for all the misery that goes on, it's like in the world, there's more opportunity for us to help us more. And that, yeah, I'm very busy booked out till about July 17th or so just now. And I've been steadily just calming my workload so that I'm not burning myself out to make it more sustainable. My training courses have also picked up as well. So I've got lots more people going through those.
that's
And
fantastic.
I'm also doing like to help give back as well, still doing YouTube live streams twice a week, where people get free like short readings. And we're going to try a new thing as well, which is like people that I've taught and trained, people can join in a class, like a weekly class, and receive like a taster session to help the people I'm teaching get experience, and then also
Is it a lot
help
of
give back.
UK clients or American clients?
Mainly the US. some
Wow.
some I've had some from Hawaii. In fact, a shout out to my client from Hawaii who's coming um, to visit me on Tuesday next week, flying all the way over just to come and get 3 hours of treatments. So I'm really excited for doing those sessions with her.
That's great.
Um, and yeah, people from around the world, but mainly from the US.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Well, I'd like to thank you, Linda, for coming along today.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And thank you for helping us guide us back to our hearts. And I always feel like, you know, you know me, I'm not, I'm genuinely don't have a huge interest in politics, but I can see I keep getting guided to like, John, you might not care about the politics, but you care about the world. And the world
And
is
that
looking
people
at
are
each other.
really suffering right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how we're looking at each other as well across our planet. Um,
But this earth always has to be in a state of resistance. Eckhart Tolle talks about that. If you look at the history of man, it's always some state of resistance. We're
yeah,
always creating chaos.
it's
But
true.
it helps us grow.
It does. It helps us explore and figure out what we do and don't want, right?
Right.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for coming
Thank
on
you.
today.
Thank you
And
so much.
I'd like to remind everyone, please do check out Linda G's channel and your book as well. I'll dig out a link for that and add it to
Okay.
the
Thank you
video.
so much.
Thank you
Thank you.
for your time.
Hi,
And
everyone.
thank you so
So
much
we
for
got a big storm coming. It's going to even hit in the East Coast. It's pretty big. So pray that, except I hope it hits Mar-a-Lago or in Washington. No, I shouldn't say that.
um
Okay, you
yeah, best
guys,
of
love
luck.
you all.
Yeah, thank
Thank you.
you. See
Bye.
you. Bye.